Hello everyone, a bit of a fun one here. A couple of weeks ago, a little bit longer than that, admittedly, I asked the other board game creators and people on my Discord channel some questions around board games. Thought it would be a little bit of fun, and here are the results. So first of all, let's put this into context. I asked if board gaming was their main hobby, and the majority of the people answering said yes. Nearly double the amount of people said yes. So this is definitely going to be skewed in the results for they are gamers, and there's some sort of D&D creators on the Discord as well. So that's where those other 6 are coming from. Into the proper questions. At a game night, would you prefer one big game or multiple small/medium games? For me, I really flip-flopped back and forward between these two answers, and to be honest, there wasn't a standout answer. Slightly in the favour of one big game. I think there's something special about planning a game night around a big game, be that a Twilight Imperium game day, you're trying to get that big new Euro game or whatever, maybe Ark Nova, Terraforming Mars back to the table. I just thought that was quite interesting that actually there was a good splattering. I prefer it where you're not just playing one game, but sometimes there is that thing, that bit special about that one big thing, right? Talking about 2 of the games that I spoke about there, if you could only choose one, which would you pick, Ark Nova or Terraforming Mars? I came down with basically the sort of casting vote. At the moment, I'm still in the Terraforming Mars camp. It's been in my collection for such a long time. It's got so many good memories. I've played it with so many different people. I've got loads of expansions. Not just, if anything, the non-official expansions I find are better because they are just some extra maps. And I think Prelude, brilliant expansion for Terraforming Mars. The rest kind of aren't needed, apart from I do like the additional map pack. And then there's additional maps that you can get. And then there's the 3D terrain. Maybe Ark Nova could use 3D terrain. Maybe that would bump it up. I'm enjoying both right now. But for me, if I had to just keep one, it would still be Terraforming Mars. Do you pimp and upgrade your games? For me, this is 100% a yes. I love it when something comes out and allows me to upgrade a game I'm already enjoying. There's plenty of games that don't need it. Like one of my favourite 2-player games, Onitama, that does not need upgrading. It comes out and it feels like a deluxeified sort of game. But, Terraforming Mars, that comes out, well, you kind of want those 3D tiles and stuff just to make it feel that bit better. Those dual layer player boards and stuff like that. Some games really do lend themselves to being, they're a good game, they become a great game when you've sort of upgraded them a little bit. And some just don't need it, and I think that's what's represented here. Most people saying yes, they like to upgrade their games, but some people probably just wanting more games instead. Another thing that sometimes splits people is, do you like Unmatched or Funkoverse as a system? Now, I have both, and they have their own purposes, I'd say. And it's fairly down the middle here, and I think not many people will have both. Funkoverse is that little bit lighter. It's got slightly wider range of IPs and stuff that you can smash together, and it's not quite as brutal. You can move around, you can activate things, and it's much more objective based, whereas Unmatched is brutal. You are playing your cards to KO effectively the other player, and there's something glorious about that. I come down on the side of Unmatched. I'm probably going to get rid of my Funkoverse stuff, but it is fun to play with the different characters, so it makes it really hard. Maybe I have to do a tournament of Funkoverse before it goes. 2 final questions. The first one, just an interesting one really. I thought I'd ask if people use Kickstarter or GameFound or Indiegogo, all of those sort of ones, etc. And, well, everyone pretty much, not everyone, but most people said yes. Hands down, there's a winner there. And I think if you're in this hobby, I think when you're in the hobby, you start looking at what's coming, and Kickstarter is a brilliant shop window of what's coming. Yes, some Kickstarter games have arrived for me and let me down, and there's others that have arrived and they have become, solid entries into my collection that I do not want to leave. And some, like I say, some have come and gone. Yes, it's a small sample size, but it's still eye-opening how much Kickstarter is part of our hobby. And finally, maybe going hand in hand with that, how many games are on your shelf of shame, or shelf of opportunity, as some people would like to call it. And yeah, it's quite an interesting distribution here. Obviously, there's a few people that must be lying, saying they've got no games on their shelf of shame. Maybe that's because they're saying it's not a shame, it's an opportunity. I think most people have, when it comes to shipping and stuff, you normally sort of buy 2 games at the same time, and one hits the table instantly and maybe the other one sits on the shelf. And I think that's where you get a little bit of a spike at the 1 to 4. And then you get some where it's like, yeah, I've got roughly this many sort of to play at some point. And then 15 plus. That is where I sit. Some of those are games that I've got because I know I want to try them. Maybe it's an experience. One is Holding On, The Life of Billy Kerr or something like that. It's in my collection just because I want to experience it at some point, give it a go. But I don't necessarily need to play it right now. So I got it really cheap, second hand. It was a good deal. It's gone into that shelf of shame as such. Not so much as I need to play this. It's more, I want to try it at some point, and it'll probably leave the collection after that, unless it's stand out to me. I've got a few games like that, and it looks like a lot of other people do. So there you have it. There's some questions I asked, and I'm tempted to do another one, maybe a little bit different, so I can actually get some more statistics out of it and stuff like that. But I just thought it was interesting, and I had this data and thought I'd share it with the world. But is there anything that, jumped out as, wow, that was kind of different from what I expected? Well, let me know in the comment section below. And until next time, enjoy polling.